I'm excited to welcome Phil Locigno Jr. to the Table Titans podcast. Phil is an amateur mixed martial arts training out of the renowned Sitang Gym in Somerville, Mass. He's also cross-training with BTT and the guys over at 617 Fight Sports Jiu-Jitsu. Welcome to the podcast, Phil.
Hey,
Phil.
how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, man. Let's start off with how your winter's been going out on the job site. You know, I know you
It's
work
been
with
good.
Union 22, and you guys have been busy. So, what are you doing specifically right now?
Well, unfortunately, right now I'm laid off, so it's a double-sided coin. I get to train a little bit more, not make as much money, but I'm still doing what I love to do every day, which is train right, eat right, and yeah, just follow my passion. Not so much my pension right now, but we'll get there soon enough.
All right, all right. What was the last big project you guys were working on? Was it over at the high school, or has that
Oh,
project been
there's a ton
done
of
for a
big
little while?
projects. There's a ton of them, but the last one I was on was right in front of trying to think right in front of the orange line. Now I'm drawing a blank right now. Right where the turnpike is.
Yep.
There's a big job site over there. I was there. Yeah, I was there for a little bit doing concrete for GNC, which is good because it's kind of like a trained conditioning worker. You just picking things up and putting them down, which is what I do from my 9 to 5 and my 5 to 9.
Yeah. Are you
Oh
getting in
yeah,
there?
oh
A
yeah.
couple
Yes.
sessions a day these days while you're on the layoff.
Yeah, so right now, since I have the free time, I'm training in the morning time with 617 Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, just getting some extra MMA work in with some guys who are looking to make their debut as well. A couple of my teammates been rolling through, getting some extra work. So, yeah, I've been doing that. And then at nighttime, depending on what day it is, I'll work my striking over at Sityo Tong. And then I'll work even more grappling over at Brazilian top team in Everett, which is nice because all three of those gyms are within a 3 mile radius. So it's pretty convenient for me, and I'm taking advantage of it.
Is there a group of guys that go around with you from Siatang that train over there as well? I think I've heard Brazilian top team mentioned quite a few times from previous guests. So you
Yes.
seeing a lot of
So,
kind of the regular fighters that we see in the cage over
yeah,
there?
actually, my teammate Aaron, aka Earthquake, he's been going on a Brazilian top team for jiu-jitsu work. Also, when he's has time off from his day job, I come over to 617 in the mornings as well and get some extra MMA work. And then also we have Leo the Hand, who has been quite an exciting fighter. He's also doing the same thing. BTT guy, go over to 617, get some extra work in. And then we have Matt Martinez. Yeah, so we got a bunch of guys rolling in and out, always getting some extra work in.
You guys carpool, save a little gas, save a little toll money.
Unfortunately, no. We should though, because we all live near each other. But unfortunately, we don't.
Yeah. So where are you in relation to Plymouth? If you don't mind me asking, if you don't
Oh
want to
no,
say
no.
where you live, but you living up near Somerville, you live near Siatang?
Yeah, I live in East Boston, Jeffreys Point, right on the waterfront. I mean, it's a great neighborhood. It just sucks to find parking at 10 o'clock at night because it's a main street. But
Sure.
give and take. It's worth it because all my gyms are, like I said, within a 3 mile radius. So I take advantage of that quite often, especially when I'm not working.
Right. Right. So let's see. This is your fifth fight for us at Cage Titans, and
This will be my fourth.
this will be your fourth, and
Yes,
this,
fourth amateur bout.
and this is you've only fought for Cage Titans. Um,
Only fought the Cage Titans, and have only as competition wise, one on one, have done mixed martial arts.
really?
Yeah, got thrown into the fire just to see if I'd come out alive, and I came out better than I was before. And that's when
Sure.
I knew this was for me. And I think I mentioned it in one of my last interviews. It's the greatest high, honestly. That adrenaline rush, the crowd, the walkouts, getting your hands wrapped, just the whole atmosphere. Like even though I'm technically an amateur, I feel like a pro every time I go out there. Just the way they treat us, the experience, and I've fallen in love with just the process in general.
Yeah,
So I'm
that's
very grateful
amazing.
for these things.
I definitely share a lot of those sentiments. I fought in a few different venues, but I'd have to say my favorite venue to watch fights and to have fought in a cage is Plymouth Memorial Hall. There's
Oh,
nothing
without a
like
doubt.
having,
Without a doubt.
being
The
down at
stadium
the bottom of
scene, the
that.
production, team, everything, it's phenomenal. I've been to a couple of regional shows. I won't say any names because I don't want to put anyone else down. But I just feel like as far as case signs, it almost doesn't even seem regional. Just with everything, you know, everything's all set up.
Yeah, yeah. Mike's always striving for that, um, that professional look. He really wants the fighters that come up through that organization to have as close to the experience as you would get with the UFC, so that when you have that opportunity to go, it's not a shock. You know, I'm sure that with having people like Peter Barrett on your team, and you know who have had that experience, Andy Cote, who's coached people up to that point, Crew Mark being part of the UFC. I'm sure that from your standpoint, it matches that those goals have been accomplished. Mike's, vision for giving people the most realistic view of what it is to be at that top level event, whether it's the venue itself or the experience being up in the locker room, where everything's laid out, coming down to the cage, you're making your entrance, and the way that you're handled after the fights. So, yeah,
100%. Couldn't agree anymore.
what is what has been what has been your focus for the last, I don't know, couple months since you've been ready to get back in there? Is it more of your ground game? It sounds like you're training extra with your jiu-jitsu if you're going to 617 and you're going to BTP. Or yeah.
Yeah, just getting all aspects because I did come from a boxing background. That was my first technically traditional martial art. Never unfortunately competed just because, just life in general just held me back, and more so myself. And then yeah, I jumped into MMA, with the lack of the ground experience, which unfortunately has been kind of the reason why I've lost those close decisions was the ground. So I just want to be sharp everywhere, just well balanced on the ground, the wrestling, the striking, just so when it comes to any aspect of the fight, I already know what to do. Hence my last fight, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Jefferson. That dude is a fucking dog, excuse my language. But, he just taught me another flaw in my game that I need to work on. And, that's the whole point of amateurs, is to find out what you're lacking. So when you do reach the professional scene, you already plug those holes in so no one can, nullify those against you. So, like, to answer your question short term, I've been practicing everything.
you know, to be expected as an amateur. That's what your coaches want to hear you saying, and that's what you should focus on. I believe firmly, having been on multiple sides of this sport, having coached people, having gotten in there myself, and having been a spectator watching for, God, like going on 14 or 15 years now. Which there's people who definitely have been watching longer than that, but I get to watch from a pretty unique perspective. I've probably seen in the order of 2,500, maybe 3,000 matches, individual matches that I've filmed,
Wow.
and it's amazing to see the step up that occurs through somebody's amateur career. Going into your first fight, not having a solid ground game. You didn't wrestle in high school or anything like that? No college wrestling or anything like that?
No, I tried it out in middle school, but my first love was football. So I just feel like when I made the transition into MMA, into jiu-jitsu, it kind of, it related because you needed that gritty, you needed that toughness. So it was just natural. And to be honest, I've kind of fell in love with the ground game and just the wrestling, just from football. But obviously my forte will always be these.
And man, they are scary when they're swinging around. I mean, watching your fights back today because I want to make sure that I'm respectful of both you and your opponent, and know what I'm looking at and know who I'm speaking to. Yeah, man, heavy, heavy hands. Look like any one of those punches that you were throwing, even in your first fight, if they connected clean, somebody's going to sleep in a big way.
Absolutely, that's the goal.
So,
But that's why they used that against me and took me to the ground because sometimes I'd be out of position, I'd be overthrown, thrown like a traditional boxer, which leaves my legs exposed, which leads to the takedown. And in amateur rounds, you only got 3 minutes to work. So if someone's on top of you, regardless of damage or not, they're controlling position and they're winning points. So I've learned from that, and this will definitely show not just from this fight, but just from here to the end of my career.
sure.
Every fight I've had, win or loss, is a learning experience. So
So, are
I've
you
learned quite a lot.
are you comfortable in this weight class? Is this a place that you're gonna stay? Is it pretty much
Oh yeah,
145?
100%. Yeah, I mean maybe in the future when I do turn pro, maybe we could try, a catch weight at 140, see how my body feels, and if that feels right, go to 135. But 145, I make it pretty easy because I eat clean year round. That's another lesson I've learned. There is no such thing as out of camp.
Sure.
You're done with your fight. Yeah, you eat like shit for a week. But I just find there's no point because it's like that glass sand thing. Well, time's constantly ticking, and I don't have time to waste. So everything I put in my body is calculated. It's to fuel me. It's not for enjoyment. I mean, my cheat meals is just more extra food than normally. So when I do go into quote unquote fight camp, I just cut down the calories a little bit and just drink more water. So I'm doing it the right way. So 45 is never an issue for me.
Right on, right on. Yeah, you look comfortable there. That's why I had to ask, because like sometimes people are fighting in weight class, and maybe they picture themselves somewhere else, but their coach is like, let's go here, see how you do. You've got enough fights under your belt at this point, I think, where if you needed to make that choice to move up or down, you'd probably be making it. So, but you think this is your home for the amateur ranks, and
100%.
maybe you'll test it out when you go pro.
Yeah,
Up and down a little bit.
never say never. I mean, who
Sure.
knows? Maybe in the future I'll take an amateur fight at 55, so I don't have to cut any weight. So
Is that where you
I don't
walk?
count on anything. I normally walk normally I'm like in the low mid 60s, give or take. But then once I start to really dial in, that's when the weight just falls off, and now I'm just walking in the mid 50s.
Right on, man. Right on. How's your family and your friends been supporting you as you've gotten into the sport more and you're fighting often? I mean, it's impressive to see. You started in 2001. You've already got, going into your fourth fight. That's 2 years.
11 months.
Oh,
It's been since my first, 11 and some change since my first bout.
yeah.
But
So,
yeah, they're very supportive, and my family, my mother and father, I couldn't ask for any more support because when I am laid off, they do help me out a lot, and I'll never forget that. So when I walk in that cage, it's not just me walking in there; it's them. Also, another part of my family is my team, is Sit Your Tongue Boston. I've grown to really love that place like a second home. If something happened like an emergency and I can't go, it feels weird not being there. Like even when I didn't have a fight booked, in the last Cage Titans card January, I was still there helping guys out because I just feel the need. I need to be here. It's a family, It doesn't matter if I'm getting ready for a fight. I have to help the next one get ready, and that's what martial arts has really taught me in life. It's not always just about your growth, because someone else's growth could also help your growth as well. So it's like the old saying to your teammate: if you don't get better, then I don't get better.
yeah. Steel sharpens steel. It's a mentality.
Exactly.
Right on. So two teammates are fighting with Cage Titans on this next card. Are you guys
Yes,
all on
sir.
the day card?
Me and Neil, another one of my teammates who's also an amateur. He's been killing it in the 125 division. That kid is a monster. I tell him all the time, even though he walks around at like up in the 130s, like up there. He is hard to hold down. I've held down like 200 pounds as easy than I've held him down. That kid is good. He's very good. He'll be fighting on the day card. And then obviously, Slippery Pete, he'll be on the night.
He's a night card.
Aaron Earthquake's on the night. And Jerry, a.k.a. Captain America, Mr. Twister, he'll be on the night as well. Oh, and I can't forget Tommy Davis Jr. He'll also be fighting at the night as well.
Wow, man. Full contingent of City-Ton guys coming out.
Yeah,
for this.
we're rolling heavy.
Oh, right on, man. I really I appreciate you taking the time out of your day and talking to me. The fans are going to love it tonight. As they watch this back show, hopefully you'll see, some positive comments and, some real love and support from the local people down in Plymouth who want to see you guys come down and do well against your opponents. Before I let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank? Are there any words for your opponent that you'd, like him to be thinking about as you get ready?
As far as I'd like to thank my team for always being with me no matter what happens in that cage. I'd like to thank my family for always supporting me. And as far as my opponent, I hope you're ready.
All right, man. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you.
And you have a great rest of your day, and have a great session tonight. Hope everything goes well.
You too, brother. Also, thank you again for accommodating your time to get this interview done. Appreciate it.
No problem. Take care.
You too, brother.